Yeah, Baba. Yeah, Baba. It's neat.
Yes, it's Castle. Yes, it's Castle. Nana de Kaya. Yes, it's Castle. Up there, Pika. Up there, Pika. So, Nana Kupado. Nana Kupado. You see your Santo. What are you? You see your Santo. What are you? Nana Kupado. Nana Kupado. You see your Santo. Thank you. So, we not take away from Honorable Rustin Davalaka.
Hello, temo femo yo temi pe mo femo kamba ni tete TV oyi wala don wa de ncha ke ngene nwe o so fe be ni wo ba cha woni fe mo no benye wo je ne ke Agyapadeɛ book ne wo je shishinye wo fe part 1 ngene wo ba fe part 2 ni temo be ni nke bu o na ke me kome ejegbe ame pa me yi na ame tashi ni ame chon boni ame ba fe ni ame ba juga na ni bi na me kpata no fe no ye am ba kpata no fe no ye na me ba juga na ni bi to the extent ake bi ame ni ame bepa wa mi nkwa apodi enche ame ba control no fe no no ba na ke aba fon shikin party conclo she na ken party ke ame assume the reins of power de enche ame nya ame fe no ko ame fe ni ake they will have the ability. These guys would have the ability to actually mess things up if they want to. I mean, feni ake, I mean, bana walenike, I mean, kame ba patani bi ayamba na me patanye. Ona boni choni, keji ayemang ni afonshi ki ame ni na kan me ame ba ma serve mo ame ba ma ni papa fe mo ame no ni no na e wona afonshi ki ame na be mama aji amba kpata no fe no ye ame ndwame we kumai ame ndwame bi ai ame ndwame na bi ai mo fe mo ya nugbele nu na egbo ona boni nchon afonshi ki ame na ame fi organ bi neke no le temo be ni nke bonye kane febo ake o ene woloko keke ni moko ektashi ne efe no ko ne ma ball keshe politics be Ghana ball mo fe mo kaka fe te acholete menen release tape na doctle menen release tape na doctle jenu ekone inkenye part 1 no ko boden chona ka ni bi eni yo part 1 no wo fe mi wo shako ekokrai ba go wo your page 4 nibi ni yo mi fe ka okwe o nibi ni ka bodi enchota she oba na ke nibi ni ame execute nibi ni ka okwa da bu ni political space yo Ghana ke da bu na ame fe anibi ame nibi oba na ke dele ene je wo loko keke ni moko tashi na egma no ko ne egenwe ngolo na egmo yi eji no ko ni afe ya wo yin no wo di enche won na aka mini afe ona so mene men keke chonwe ne choshipon asana chaki ame eja ka me ni fitelo eji ame anytime ni akema ha me ka me ba hie ame patan ni bi aye anytime meni me wo ame tete po ame UPB tetepo na kan bi ame ni Ghana eba ji ame de mfe na kan bi ame ka ame nteno wo na ka me ne ame patan ni bi aye ame fitio ni bi ona boni chon ame patan ni bi anye na me fiti oni bi no angmene we ba botem shole dani nka bo ba botem e ma twa video ko ma bo efi o me ake onna ne ke video ne dan ni ole this is the first time ni na ne ke video ne ni ire wo ake ona mene mele ona lela ke ka ke ame ba ju ame ba gbe ni ame ba fitemo anu kwale trodo ame ba ju na ame ba gbe na ame ba fitemo anu kwale pepepe watch Jerry John Rawlings ni wo image ka wo image amang ni femina pe mitete neke interview ne actually I've seen an excerpt of the interview she know me no ni na way about neo-colonialism ona bonichon ni still Africa olo she this particular portion of the interview, Inako, it tells you the kind of people we are dealing with the MPPB. Nikeji okwe of the history of the party, ni amontone, morph into noni wakchole MPPB ane. Bodien chao naka mene menkekbe me beloy, ni fite loy jiame. I'm telling you, on a bonicho, ake kla ake jiame nyame kwe. Now me feja region Rollins neke. Only all this while I've always wondered, no ne wani Jerry, for some reason, Akuffo, they can never see eye to eye. Especially Mokoni, enye kele tuning da PNDC era, you would think ake eba fe ni bi onaboni at least keno kushi some video de ni matoma abwe oba no ni wo Jerry Akuffo alo enye Akuffo an kata beni ebote egbelemi Akuffo aro ye fine before egbo. She could he could not find it a place in his heart. He could not find a place in his heart to forgive him. On a bonicho, ni sania negba eye mobo wa ake a treat lenike. Come video.
Until I left all my life together with that of my wife, until I left office, schooling, officer, and until I left office in the year 2000, I never had a foreign account. Never. The CIA, the German intelligence, British MI5, your Italians, the French, all of you go and look into every bank account and to tell the world whether my wife and I ever had $1, 1 penny anywhere in any bank in any part of the world before I left office. I never did. Interestingly, and it never occurred to me, I had no desire for it. The only time it struck me that I needed a foreign money was when my wife was ill. And it was a situation we could not deal in my country, in Ghana. You know, and we looked for the most affordable place, which was in a university in Europe. That was the first time I suddenly realized how naked I was in terms of, I couldn't even save my wife's life, a very noble lady who had been through trying times with me. That's when I started calling around the world, friends, can you help, etc. So having no account, oh, by the way, before I left office, we knew she was going to have this operation, so we had even put a little money aside. I think it was about $22,000 it was going to cost us. My wife is asthmatic, and over the years, it has developed its side effects, you know, both in her intestines and other complicated places. So it was going to be quite an expensive, this thing. And you listen to me carefully. I was looking around the world. Anybody help me? It's not for myself. I have no account. This is the address of the hospital. This is how much it's going to cost. I mean, it was the most shocking, painful experience I'd been across, that I could hardly get any assistance early enough. My government, who knew, the new government, who had taken over from me, who knew I needed help and that we had made preparations, refused. On the last day before we were to leave, she was supposed to be on the operation table on the 22nd of a certain month. 2 days before, that's when I got a letter from the president's office, a 3-page letter, conditions I had to fill, a whole lot of rubbish. We got a ticket, we flew to London. This president, or this man who was a president who had been in office for almost 20 years, 10 years, 18, plus whatever it is, 8 plus another 2, almost 19, 20 years. I had no dollar account anywhere, and I had to stop in London to borrow money from someone so that I could go and do my wife's operation. You listen to me carefully. about 8,000, to take care of her needs, etc., into the hotel. 22,000 it was going to cost us, either dollars or euro. I think it was dollars, into the hospital. When the operation, after a while, I had to leave and go back to Ghana and left her. Here's the shocking part of it. After the operation was done, on borrowed money, people don't believe it, but it's true. On borrowed money, when the operation was done, she was discharged into the hotel so that she could be brought in once in a while, for checkup, a review. Can you believe that when the driver of the embassy under the new government informed the ambassador that I have to take Mrs. Rawlings, for a review, the ambassador said no. In Switzerland, the Ghanaian ambassador, it happened in Switzerland, said no. The driver was so shocked, he put the embassy car key on the table, went and used his own personal car to go and drive my wife to the hospital for the review. This is the kind of vicious petty-mindedness that you can sometimes run in parts of the world in terms of my relationship with this character that, your Western powers or the Western powers have promoted, and they are trying to sanitize his image as if he's the cleanest, finest head of state in Africa. It's absolute rubbish. He's a criminal. He's a thief. He went around telling the world, wrote a letter to every bank around the world that I had stolen suitcases of money into bank accounts. I was trying to kill him, make a coup. I had stolen 19 cars, etc. All of them were false. I will not tell you something that the bank... It took 3 months for me to be able to open a bank account through somebody. Finally, when the bank manager was going to open that account for me, do you know what he told his Swiss friend? You can come and do it. Every day he goes there. Is it open? Is it open? Is it open? Finally, after 3 months, the man told my friend that he is one of the few African heads of state who does not own a foreign account. You can now come and open the account for him. I mean, the point I'm trying to make is, look at the difficulty I had from my own government, from outside. But then the other side of it is that to be so mean that not even the driver could send my wife for a review. That ambassador, for being so, he was so mean, the government withdrew every protocol facility as a former head of state. I have to carry my own suitcases, never mind. They even tried to get Swissair not to give me protocol. And Swissair told them, hey, you don't do that. They tried to campaign with other governments. Don't give this man protocol facility, etc. And yet, I'm supposed to have been the man who turned the situation round in Ghana, in West Africa. So in effect, what I'm trying to say is that we've had a pretty rough time, but the more you show hatred towards your opposition, sometimes towards us, the more you get promoted in some parts of the world. It's not healthy. I mean, we must begin to stop treating oppositions and ourselves as enemies. We must begin to rather engage in constructive relationship, constructive criticism, and not attempt to destroy and to see the opposition as your enemy to be destroyed. I mean, factories we don't have time. 2 hours, 1 hour is not enough. 30 minutes is not enough for you and I. I need 9 hours. I need 8 hours to wake you up in Italy, in Europe, to the problems we're going through in Africa. Yes.
Right. Ofa video eh. Bonami. Bonami. I'm a suban kaja blema. Bename yo. Nakaino. I'm a chakeko. Na me Akyem bola. Oh no, me cafe Jerry. Now, in Tabia ni makake, Jerry was perfect. It was pure. Efron Kobei. Tatamo Kobei. See, namo fio a ex-president again. Namo. especially this guy ni engme wala when he didn't have to kejeje ka esumone tanu akeso ya nyolo 1992 about na can so-called democracy what fe ni trust me as of the time ne two times say share keje town na chano we ba chano e ba chano but me noni me fele ne ni nke ba ka me na kan me yo yi na kan no me fe nkruma me ne me se mi nkruma egboye mokoman se mi nkruma gboye mokoman ake gbonyo bashia me ne me komo be na ne yo ame chakeko irrespective of money ba nya me party eye kaje blame kaje chuchu boni ame cheme yo na kan no ame yo na kan ni bi no ame fio be me boya buyeli loy I am telling you a tweet of moneke na kan no me male ye nkruma e ni yakwe e logan na shika ne ka ato ni nkruma gbo e be dollar ye eku ni nkruma gbo ebe na kan no jerry the same thing na ka pade na atore na kan kwaku ba ku njole no ni je na kan aka pade na losh komo bole nche komo Jerry he died a poor man Jerry na fe ya late enya noko nile pretty much a latter stage he said le cry ke fi no fe no ba yue pade ba shan ba kan in his couch. He died a poor man, Jerry. She come on me fele. E logan na shika e kateneke na be na me fe nkruma na kan pepe. Meanwhile, come on, ame ba ke Ghana bi amale Ghana bi na ju na chojo na fite no fe no. Awaje part 2 shishi. Come on. Phase 2, I'm a boy no. Again, this stage is scheduled to commence from January 2021, given the high likelihood of Ghanaians giving another term to govern this country. This phase would consolidate the gains made in the banking, bond, insurance and capital markets, in parentheses, financial services sector. It will also see to the taking of significant stakes in mining, oil and gas, telecommunication, as well as marine and aviation, the area of general manufacturing and commerce, which was not part of phase 1, has been introduced here. So, Baona, every single sector, ni man economy run or I mean, color jamefe. Mining, oil and gas, telecommunication, marine and aviation, general manufacturing, commerce, konofeno. It is still good. Look, many men kabaka galamsi amame fioi. MPP party mo femo galamsi. Every single one of them, party officials. I'm a fig in Kakaja Flagstaff. I'll say Kata is branch level executive now will mo femo galamsi. Onu mishishin. Banking, insurance, and capital market sector. Both way. Again, control of this area will need to be expanded from a 2-tier system to 3 tiers. Consequently, the strategies to be deployed in each of the subsectors would be along the lines of mother, supervisory. So, come on, 3 sectors and I'm galo 3 tiers. Say, come on, mother, be mami, biological children, mami, ekelelenche be, third one, adopted children, indirect control. So, mother, that about perform the supervisory role. Now, biological children, financial sector, I'm about to have a direct control over them. Many men I consider financial sector any I consider as adopted children. I'm about control. I'm about indirectly. No, about make a front. No, nah. But nikeji okwano ni ya no Ghana. Kada bwe na me rano ni biye. Bodi enchoba na kenke wolo ne je wolo kokeke. beja no ni ya no Ghana bo ko ya ke bu ona ni bu onu she come for ya ke lele no ba ya no kwale no kwanu ni ya no Ghana no ba ya no kwale pa jemu ko ba ke bu ake ajegbe atasi na plan ni na fele pepepepepepepepe ni ameke no felu ni ba fe Ghana bi e ba nye fi ameje amesane je amesane onum sisi je amesane. It is really sad ake we be never we ni Ghana be here me aye na make pata no fe no here. Come on the next one, banking mother no a chombo banking e money ji mother botwe jame legit Bank of Ghana because legit the mother of all banks so botwe. Control of the mother is essential to control the industry. So far, the head of the mother and his first deputy are strongly aligned to our cause. Bank of Ghana governor a flush because he is aligned to their cause. Bank of Ghana governor nitano the way name manage Bank of Ghana one nako governor ko name manage le nekenda. Si no ni ya no fe asuma bole no ko na plan na afe no ko na plan na afe 15 billion in losses. $15 billion in losses. Meanwhile John Mama you know Bank of Ghana I mean fair profits and who am my hospital hospital and who am fair ni bi ne shame no akpata ni bi aye because I mean lo am gbe me ketaje na foshika na akpata yin keke. They are from our compound and we perceive no threat from these two. Nichi Bank of Ghana governor ke deputy no ame you ame fita ye ko ame le eko ame na make no ni ame tawo na ame fie Bank of Ghana governor ke deputy they are all in. The 2 second deputy appeases the gender advocates and is also not a source of discomfort. In this vein, there is no need for changes in those places. It is however noted that the head is likely to reach retirement age before the end of phase 2. In that situation, the first deputy would have to be supported to take over. Replacement of the first deputy in such circumstances would not be by promoting the second deputy into the role of the first. Rather, a strong Baumia loyalist should be appointed to the role to further strengthen the Baumia political cause. Beona. Oh, no plan. Inka ame set no fe no emotion ni ame fe ye wo yen keke omo tase no ke wolo ko keke ni moko etasi ne hwe ne ngole ni tafla cha ne ngano ko keke be boden cho be serious boden cho ta o Ghana no ya boden che boni Ghana fe ne ngona. This is in line with protecting the legacy of Nana Addo. Nana call anytime no banana che Nana Akuffo Addo like some ya you all could enable us to sidestep and further alienate the Akuffo faction. Beona. Akebo clearly no na mete even a net now push Alane because Alane Kuffo nyoni. Beni Kuffo yeta. Ni agbele nominations for a flag bearership wo fe wole ake Kuffo faction Alana meka ya. Kebata bi anenwe Kuffo faction Alan se ameyo. So ajegba engineer ni neba min pepe ni alienate Kuffo faction Alan afele small. Afele small na fenu na bafe na wo ba omi adumo jeme because ke ba omi adumo na apron ne agenda ne yo wolo na emi e ba ya min pepe. Adwen Ghana bi aye. Adwen na bafe ni Ghana ba hwele. Adwen na bafe ni Ghana ba ya no. Adwen na bafe ni chake mo baba Ghana. Adwen na bafe no brantai ni yo Ghana ka me gbe school na abemba na nuchu mo na mechu. Adwen na bafe Jeno she boni abafe na ba control no fe no e Ghana nikaji oje na kan weku anie benu egbele yan bonu no Bele femini e abonu no le ene Dr. Bawumia ke ko wolo ne sande na dwemo. Sane ko ete NDC bie ke la ke mene ke na Akuffo Addo teno aba yusubo. Enu riwe mu nshi wo fe wonu nshi wo fe won feel like o Beneje North wo ame nominate ile ne eba nyi ame party enye. She any explaining na can use mo. Yes, I nominate le mon. Neba enya me party enye mo. She komu no ni ewo ni nominate le. Komu no ni ewo na fe sure ni Bawumia bajeme na Akuffo bi ejeme because Bawumia banya control. Bawumia is not his own man. He can be controlled, he can be manipulated. Awayano. Biology be an mother son what you ball no mother Bank of Ghana mother biological children both way. These are banks in which we should have controlling interest. The collapse of local banks with ties to the opposition NDC and other political factions. Abigi beona no last any fe Dr. Indum Saneni beona abigi beona. Boden chekwamo. The collapse of local banks with so mo fame any local bank it has a tie to the NDC. Allow any rival political party I mean fair me yakamba collapse na me collapse fail. Be me come 10,000 I mean yeshi na me chuni. Dia me Sunday because I'm in town na me kwe me. During the cleanup operations undertaken by the mother Bank of Ghana, Leji mother le no ajegba fika na kan bank say because they have connections to the NDC. They have connections to the NDC. Was a resounding success, bona. Eka me ba ke wa ke ni abigi ole report in kanye po agbene here report ye don I'm telling you. Everything in that report was cooked up. Abigi, seriously. Look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I hate it. I actually hate people. Now I'm a billion going to Nakainibi. But look, Abigi, this book is telling me, I can look, I can report anyone can it was cooked up. I'm telling you. You may strongly disagree with me because Obaka Agbele Wojiami na nibi figures can nibi ni yo jeme na kanjuno ni yo jeme but Abigi. I believe this was cooked up. They are calling it a resounding success to further their cause. Abigi, that is what they are calling it. Bank said I'm a collapse. I'm calling it a resounding success. Ghana be a come 10,000. I'm a lose nuchumo 10,000, and you are calling it a resounding success because Akyem Mafia. Once again, it's facilitated the flow of substantial financial resources into our war fund through backflow of some of the advertised cleanup cost. Abigi, no beona. That is why Nike Abeli Diggs Bank said out there, all it would have cost was 5 billion. They ended up spending 20 billion. You try get 15 billion in yourself, bona. They found a way now make a go. I'm a so-called war fund them. Abigi. I can war fund them. This book is telling you the cleanup would have taken $5 billion. Jeno Pengwe, 10,000 jobs would have been saved. See, because I thought Skana can war fund them, you were a cleaning am up. Afitefe, Akumofe, Ghana be almost 10,000 lose amenuchumo. Now 15 billion more. The NDC has been poor incoherently and consistently demanding detailed accountability and audit of the funds spent. There you go. The process further led to the establishment of the Consolidated Bank Ghana, CBG, currently a wholly owned government of Ghana bank, and our proxies are well placed to take controlling interest when the bank is eventually returned to private ownership. It's right there. So CBG and affair, I mean, the way eventually, about creating when they have this kind of power about creating ni beno bana about kabaka CBG Mbogana nyomo na sana ka private investor e ka me no me femini ame no me do ame e ka me CBG na kanu shofi on Ghana commercial bank ame ho ame na kanu nke shofi on ame on Ghana commercial bank so consolidated bank na fe de nche onum sisi ame kebu ake the ultimate goal is to make sure I can know about chome no ame ba shekululu when they have all these controlling interests me na me kamelencha ame me woje you heard it ame place ame own people ye jame no ame ba fe kululu be no ba no ba kwa go CBG Mbogana nyomo CBG Mbogana mo sana kan private investor ye ka me no ame fo ame ye ka me ba e many wo fon shiki ye ha me ne inka many wo fon shiki e ha me ne many wo fon shiki e ha me ne ame bet Ghana e dwemo noko The Ghana Amalgamated Trust received 800 million Ghana cedis from government to ensure that ADB, Prudential Bank, Universal Merchant Bank, NIB, and Omni BSIC Bank were able to meet the minimum capital requirement set out by the Bank of Ghana. These banks are either government banks in the main, are friendly ownerships. So banks say ni amele ame bail out abigi na ame close here na ame ha na can bail out. They have friendly ownerships. That notwithstanding, our local and international partners are ready and able to take over government stake arising from the 800 million injection. Beona. Oh, now clearly. Oh, now everything clearly. The takeover of CBG and acquisition of significant equity holding in the Ghana Amalgamated Trust assisted banks represent our strategy for direct play in the commercial banking space in the country. As a result of our hold on these banks, two goals would be met, namely, direct financial contribution in the form of dividends, and secondly, the granting of funding support to our designated local businesses. So, no fair. I feel like okay. I feel like okay. Two significant aims never achieve. I make able two goals. Namely, direct financial contribution in the form of dividends, because I may know these shareholders in some of these banks say no dividends say baba me kotokumi. I be no me businesses come me businesses but I need financial support. These banks ni I'm a barely with 800 million Ghana city say I'm a baba more than I'm a femini. I'm a fashika ken I'm a local businesses. I'm ba fashika ken I'm a femini. I'm a local businesses. Onim sisi can am local businesses many work for oshiki mini wa ha amene many work for oshiki wa amene agbene adopted children ben care about adopted children many they are not all that directly I'm a control indirectly mother allergy Bank of Ghana biological children oji amamelencha am banks ni am control agbene adopted children g banks ni je amameno but they some way somehow they will have indirect control. Come on. These are the top banks in the local scene with largely foreign ownership, so they don't have direct control because they are foreign ownership. That will not be able to take controlling equity stake. However, we will still need to wield substantial influence in their operations through leverage over key management personnel and some board members. So the banks now about face work, I'm about push I'm a management ni beyond the banks there. I'm a make me buy in board members ni on the banks there. I'm a make me buy femini e buy in. The aim here is not necessarily direct financial contribution from these banks, but rather to assure funding for private businesses aligned to our cause. In the unlikely event our bloc is not in power, we could also count on them to make pronouncements that will influence public opinion against the ruling government. So me kebake ike kejo fita me here inke Obana na Ghana be a phone shaking habo, but they have all this financial muscle. Now me ba face government no ba government here, a government. Your government will not be governmenting. I'm about face work about influence. Ni be fe ba fite. Obana ke oh boy wo modern fe. Oh no ni ano. Because I'm in control. The bank say. These adopted children include ABSA, EcoBank, GCB, Stanbic Bank, and Zenith Bank. Beona. Now, ABSA, formerly Barclays. The management of this bank is largely aligned, and Antoinette Kofi, who is the director of finance, is fully behind our project. This explains a presence on the board of the Minerals Income Investment Fund (MIF) board. In the event that the position of managing director of the institution becomes vacant, hopefully with Nana still in power, diplomatic channels to Pretoria should be utilized in support of Antoinette ascending to the role. The substantial flow of government business to the bank since Nana came to power should continue to keep the bank on our side. So currently, Antoinette Kofi, legit director of finance, ABSA, formerly Barclays, call me. Now me face wake anytime ni opening baba on a boni show, anytime ni opening baba for director of the institution, a directorship role, baba ne ba control no feno ya bank aba face wake me aba push le jeme aba push le na Akuffo Addo ba use way wale ne ba face wake le ba control bank mini e no feno. Anytime ni managing director position back bele ye ABSA na kenjunu na ba face wake Antoinette Kofi ni bi an legit director of finance ni le no board member ni ye Minerals Income and Investment Fund there aba face sure no amontone am a fair sure am a use of ABSA for government businesses wa boni afi ke be ehye ni a push na push. EcoBank, come on. We have two routes of entry into this situation, into this institution. First is through SNIT. Agbene bobi eto edoba. Oba nano ni ewo na Akuffo Addo. SNIT onukpa. Akeshi jeme na kosafo mafo bi nu e awo jeme ni bia ne le controller SNIT. Ni neighbor no am pushi na hotel say brand champion. Oba na come be eba explain both way. We have two routes of entry into this institution. First is through SNIT, which has a seat on the board of EcoBank Ghana by virtue of its shareholding. The seat is occupied by the Director General of SNIT. In phase 2 of our agenda, Kofi Busumpim Osafo-Mafo, who is a Deputy Director General of SNIT, should be made the Director General to give him the seat on the EcoBank board. No, na Akuffo Addo ani Director General na tasnite akpale afan nke mokokula be ne ba kwa wolone ne ba ka kene noko kekeni mokwenma ni bia ni yo mie I executive to the letter. I executive me won agbene won nanu ne won Osafo-Mafo bi nuwe afele director of SNIT be ona ejawolu emi a plan in over a plan ike no ni yo wolu emi ike amejegbe ni amenfefe pepe ko Ghana bi nye gba nye imemi ni NDC bi kan mo fenye dromo ni nye batano we bi ne sa ni nye na me ya free esa ni we bi ne nye na me you ame Sani NDC bi ba megbe ni we bi ne ba ya me kura nke bo no ko malakabo kwe we bi ne come on who is a deputy general of SNIT should be made the Director General to give him the seat on the EcoBank Ghana board. Secondly, the wife of A. Sankoma Benyena is the group head of commercial banking and a member of the executive management of the EcoBank group. our intelligence is that both the role of Group CEO and Managing Director of EcoBank Ghana will become vacant in the next 2 to 3 years. Nana has been advised to use all diplomatic avenues to support his Ankome's wife to fill one of these impending vacancies. Mene, at some point, there is Ankoma. We were so naive. We believed this guy so much. We trusted him. No fear, a fake and what Ghana. Ni Ghana, Australia. Get this guy bad news file no kwe. Ghana be fair as ma kwamo. Occupy Ghana. I'm a fair like an Akuffo bank to leba me yemi. As ma me fair MPP be song. Aya na me fair yeko. Aya na me fair yeko. GCB Bank. Come on. Again, this bank is already under government control. The main strategy here is to ensure that appointments to the board and key management roles are based on loyalty to our cause. So, Ghana Commercial Bank, Jemokone competent. About Womoko Kataja anymore, no near metawo ne fear baffy. I'm a Joy Ghana no ya. I'm a Joy Ghana Sholemo, Jame Sanikla. Jame Sanikula. Mofemoni anytime you opening leadership position baba Ghana Commercial Bank sana meka me gbomo awoje boni afi nunu na metawo na me achieve na kan gbomo ewa me na me achieve me name wa fon shiki wa hai Ghana bi me name wa fon oshiki wa ha Stanbic kwamo Stanbic is another South African bank that we can leverage on the diplomatic relationship between Accra and Pretoria to ensure that the successor to Andani and other key appointments subsequent to that are favorable to the project goal. So banking sector, I'm in control no fair. Zenith Bank, this Nigerian bank will play ball as long as Nana is in power. With control over political power, the bank will align. The bank will align. Bona chat dinko me be ke nibi ko me ya no mafo no maya the next one. Insurance, come on, mother. The current team at the helm of the National Insurance Commission, especially the insurance commissioner, is well aligned and so far has worked effectively in furtherance of our objectives. This has underscored a clear understanding of the loyalty to Nana and other broader political objectives. So long as they continue in this vein, there would be no need for changes in the helm. Routine monitoring of how things are unfolding at the commission is the recommended action for the first half of phase 2 from 2023. It is envisaged that the commission would be headed by a Baumia loyalist. The commission would be headed by a Baumia loyalist. So come on, every sector, I make beme so wojeme. Ake, I make beme. Niru na meta wo mo ba febo ni ofeni na ken wala amena na me control no fe no ye Ghana. Ni ame femini, ame control no fe no ye Ghana. Afonshiki ame ni ame ka me batano ame joy man bi ai. Joy mo na me ke batano je no ko na me ba fe no ko ka wa Ghana ai dabi. But Akyem bi na me nai wale. Ni mo fem wa ko to ame ye Ghana. Ni mi ke bua ke keji o ke ne ke no ko na ewolo ni keke be apasafology bu. Eja ke ni bia ni wo kan so far fe ba mi ye Ghana. I me fe about 80% of this no nin kan so far I execute. About 80% has been executed. So if you talk about kakene wo loko kakene moko tashi ni mo we loko ligi negma. Biological children. The enterprise group is the dominant leader of the insurance industry and its position has been strongly enhanced since the coming into power of MPP government in 2017. There is really no need to aggressively pursue direct acquisition of additional insurance companies. The phase 2 strategies for continuous control include the following. Continue to push major government insurance deals to enterprise insurance. Enterprise insurance say kenoforiata lenomi kani mokolakabo. Kenoforiata lenomi. Sponsor elections of candidates to executive positions of key labor unions such as NAT, NAGRAT, UTAC, TUTAC, GMA, etc. So they can influence the appointment of enterprise trustees and enterprise investment limited as trustees or fund managers of the tier 2 and 3 pensions of those labor unions. So bona. So I'm about fair sure labor unions say like all these so quote and unquote government insurance agencies labor unions say I'm a me as part of the board members ni oje idea jaka ba face track labor union say come in fair election say ba influence am me personal election say koni me ni me ba yo nu pa me ni me ba nye labor bi aye am MPP bi boni afa keji afa appointment to some of these board to must need no na national investment trust can ni bi afa on aboni insurance companies can be afa am me we bi na me lead or labor union say am no na ba push am ni amata board no no come at a board there no for no na fear I may be no your jeme. Adopted children. There is no active strategy for influence of the other insurance companies beyond appointments to the board and senior management of SIC Group. Bona. Now, capital market. Mother. Compatriot Ogbame Tete is doing a fantastic job heading the Securities and Exchange Commission, just like the banking sector. The cleanup leading to the revocation of licenses of several fund and asset management companies was a success, despite legal challenges from a handful of defunct entities in this space. Abigi, Dr. Papa Kwesi Ndumeni Mfe Ewiemu Kwenebotwe. Papa Kwesi Ndum's Black Shield Capital is causing a few troubles, but it can easily be dealt with using our numerical advantage in the judiciary or even its dodgy relationship with the CIA. Bona. So mini ekon wota no needy no nake neke banking cleanup sector na me fe neke capital. I mean it was done deliberately. A fitani bi koni amena e wale na me control no fe no. Koni amena e wale na me femini na me control no fe no. Meni wa fonshiki e ha mene me kwa Ghana bi mene me nkeke nye fonshiki e ha me ko na Ghana bi ni bi na ejekpo ne ni mi kebo aka look ole no ni wona na bibio kla mena meteno ka meteno da no ba na de boy ni mene me amekpata ni bi anye na mejegba me fiteni bi nkebo me mena meteno ni body encho ba no imi no ba no to emi. Leadership of the SEC is one of our key allies and require no changes at all. Of the 11 board members, 10 are either directly appointed by the government or representatives of government institutions. Hence, things will always be under our control throughout phase 2. Our channel. Biological children, but we cool. Capital market, you know what yo. Data Bank is a household name in the financial industry. It is our beloved child in the industry. Abigi, it is their beloved child in the industry because of Oriatano. Its presence as government advisor on financial transactions is to be intensified, including now being interested foreign companies to partner with Data Bank on such issues. In furtherance of this end, all major government financial transactions are to be executed in the first 2 years of Nane's second term. Data Bank. They only know ni mene mamete ba me bogana nyomo. Ame fashika potok. Ni shika ona no na me fe. ona no ni akeshika fe ni mi ke ba ke data bank ti many ameji middlemen na me finance ne ke I'm a work between these foreign institutions, financial institutions, the Ghana government. No, every single time now about Fashika, data bank, ni keno for real tachano, ni ame describe le wolo name as their beloved child in the industry. And now commission. Anytime ni Ghana about Fashika, data bank now commission. No, I feel like keke. I feel like keke. Adopted children. This will bring in the needed funds to fight the battle to install Baumia as part of the succession plan to take advantage of Baumia. I mean really clearly. This will bring in the needed funds to fight the battle to install Baumia as part of the succession plan to take advantage of Baumia. Ghana. Can you force it about me? In Baumia, Tajameke, about Trale Bolu, Baumia, Eleno Konoko, Baumia Esha, already ahead of the economic management team. I mean, Naka Ebolu Trawa, I make Trale Bolu, Nesha, na make Patani Biaye, ni were no fair no fit economically. I mean, Cabo, Wolonin Cabwaka, can you tell no force it about me? About you, Sulena can know Baumia Tajameke. Baumia Femini, in Ka a Tajameke. Kasun Baumia etaje mekeke na ba yusule Ghana be amen Kenya. Adopted children. Major players within the security sector besides Data Bank are EDC Investments of EcoBank, Stanley of Stanbic, and SAS of Togbe Afade or SAS. These are institutions we will struggle to get into for obvious reasons. Our only chance of influencing the first two somewhat were if our banking strategy is well orchestrated to secure some influence in EcoBank and Stanbic Bank, which will eventually offer some leverage around EDC and Stanley. Regarding SAS, all efforts should be made to weaken it by using our foreign friends to offer juicy fund/asset management roles to key personnel within SAS in order to tempt them away from that setup, thus weakening its ability to compete effectively. Talk me already. I've been aware mining, oil and gas industries. Mining, oil and gas industries. Our mining as well as oil and gas strategies constitute a major plank of the blueprint for controlling the extraction of natural resources which God has generously bestowed on Ghana, particularly the Akyem land. Wafen wali ake jeme headquarters of Galamsey, President Mahama Chame na Ghana no shishi. Growing environmental factors are rendering risky our use of illegal small-scale mining. Galamsey, no bona. Biana melenta me keba ke Galamsey. Ame yemi tiriri. Ame joti ya Galamsey mi. She ni one way was stop Galamsey. She still I'm in follow. Ame ba. But way. As a source of financing our political objectives, there is therefore the need to roll out a more rigorous legal means of controlling significant stake in the legal gold value chain. Bona, I'm in fair Galamsey no hey. She legal mining way I'm in Chogeme. To this end, a cursory look at the approved concessions should be looked at. Asante Bedieto, Legislative Secretary to the President, is to lead the process to take over these concessions detailed below and consolidate them into the extended Agyapadeɛ LLC incorporated in Jersey. Beona. Ona no wake watabia da ne wake wake Galamsey den che Flagstaff house afio ye nyebaka ke wonje wani. Ke watabia da ne wo Kenya ke Galamsey Flagstaff house je na afio ye aninye ba je wo one low Flagstaff house afio Galamsey bona a control no fe no ninka wa icho ne ya infio Shineke Japan royalties di ne te through Ghana Ghana be if you make a queer or money by for the next 40. But imagine mono cha gold. Ni ni say na mo buy because government go ka afashika ake wo say shika ni shikwe ka wo gold wo ba na American fashika na me ye fe bia ne menene companies, groups, enterprises qualified to operate. Come on. Any galamsey companies say bona ena me fefe ni so far agbelegbele companies bi angma fe ejeme anwa skip no here bona bonin chon ke district me name your fe amema man fe it's a whole bunch of them. I was keep if anywhere the more important. Any bena fe no kobana mining companies bi na assets over any 147. Mean kwe okay 186 226. Yolo companies mining companies bi so na set up come ni machema come ke gbe na machema abo e come 332. I may set small companies, mining companies, Ekome 332 all over Ghana. Now, come on. The passage of the Minerals Income Investment Fund Act and the setting up of the first special purpose vehicle, Agyapadeɛ royalties, in Jersey would allow us acting in various capacities and through our friends to acquire majority of the stake to be listed on the London Stock Exchange and the Ghana Stock Exchange. The cash flow will be strategically undervalued to maximize our returns. We will get a share of the money raised through IPO on the two exchanges through paveway payments by contractors who will work on MIF-funded projects. We will also get a share of the dividends for our equity holding in the special purpose vehicle. In Ghana, where anyone can what she ni ne ke Japan no kone egbe what can me da no da no moshi because ne ke Japan royalties di ne te true nkwona ne ke Japan royalties di ne te true nkwona Ghana bi in ke for the next 50 years o mo ni ba je wo na call obana Ghana no yole Obana Ghana no yole ame kebo no ni ike kwamo moko nye kase ne ba ka ke ne noko ni keke I execute no fe no I execute no fe no pe. The funds raised will be used to finance the setup of mining companies by our allies. The Minerals Commission will be pushed to issue licenses and good concessions to these companies. This will effectively transition us from galamsey mining. Menena galamsey got me keba ka galamsey Flagstaff house to I'm in Kebo. I'm lencham come on over 300 so-called small scale mining companies now me set up. Ni a Agyapadeɛ royalties going eventually and I'm like I set up I'm a big mining companies e ka me hefe ni try get gold ke minerals cha fe be ba amedi. So I'm in control financial sector, I'm in control of gold ke what diamond ke bauxite I'm in fe na ba heje me fe ni nka me I'm in ye fe wu e poashi abo. Future inflows from these entities will be invested in additional companies to be strategically positioned along the precious minerals value chain. A similar blueprint will be replicated, in the oil and gas sector, which also will commence with the setting up of SPVs using petroleum revenues that currently flow into the consolidated fund as receivables to be mortgaged. So they can be ne ya consolidated fund them any proceeds Georgia me fe boy aba mortgage le kwa me. The technical team led by DM Oforiata should further evaluate the following details in order to choose the appropriate sites. So okay Obana graph ye be o na fe ye me like I said enya amashima bo na graph fe. Now telecommunication our fe no ni wag me ye ke wo fe part 3. Come on. Eke We currently do not have much foothold in this sector. Telecommunications, but what telecommunication companies ni wo Ghana, wo MTN, wo Vodafone, wo internet use wo nibine ani wo nyo wo fio wo radio, nibine ani wo nyo wo fio wo TV, telecom that whole sector afen botu. We currently do not have much foothold in this sector. The critical role that telecom companies play in the lives and economic fortunes of this country require us to make a strong entry into this sector. The successful planting of Kelvin GVG into the telecom sector has given us unparalleled advantage in terms of having a view of activity flow within the sector and the ability to monitor communication of persons of our choosing. So afene no ye Ghana call your opposition about tap phone calls when about botwe. Ni abana ka o fe no ko na abana ni nyeta onye fie plan ni nyeta onye ko ni bi ni nyeta onye fe abakwa fe meneme. The intelligence gathering power allow us to target botwe can you no go botwe you were before can you botwe. The intelligence gathering power allow us to target and eliminate any potential threat from within the MPP, particularly those not inherently loyal to our cause and nanes, which include members of the opposition NDC. So I'm about use the telecommunication sector and I capture about bono feno to mofemo bet I mean I'm about target bulenchonu. I'm a political enemies. No ka planning over feno kono amenwe anomo. I mean infiltrate every single sector. There infiltration po. I mean call every single sector that I control them fe. Ni ame call ni akaba wa Ghana yi. Nke kejo ja Akyem ya no yagbo ogbele. Ya no afemini o yagbo ogbele. Our sister in charge of the ministry responsible for this sector is doing remarkably well, especially confrontations with MTN Ghana, resulting in administrative measures aimed at curtailing the business of MTN. Beuna. From 2021, legislation will need to be introduced to break up the business of MTN using national security and antitrust reasons as justification. Our loyal allies will be enabled to occupy the spaces to be ceded by MTN. Such entry will yield significant strategic advantages over our competitors. Many wafon oshiki wahamene. Many wafon oshiki wahamene. Wo obana electoral commission wo obaya the political terrain obana plans na me fe for with the electoral commission be na me fe na me ba use no na ba fe na ba control small political party say obana plan e fe nge wo patri ba wo odan no wo tie no wo soda no batashi wo patri obana ke no ni ya no na electoral commission e fe je follow ike moko kle ya wolo na mi ne ba kwano ni ya no ejame ne ba ke akesi oh mokoni we logoliki ne manoko keke. There is no way mene masana chaki yami mene menkamini asana chaki yami because ka me ya no lue ame ba pata no fe no ye no na nka bibio he ni elections ami kebo nke omo fe mo ni oyo Ghana KMPP no pojibo ni osumo Ghana mi ta makebo ake election e gboyin gbe mi because come on keji o fe na keona Ghana no yo mi no support MPP ke me na me ye ko e ba shebe na ken Ghana o na le don kebo no ko malakabo e ba shebe ko ni na ken Ghana o fe mi ni o na ken Ghana don e ba sebe ko ni na ken Ghana nke onan le don ame control no fe no agbla no fe no minister ne ame ka ma Akyem bi ye ame contributions that ame fe towards Ghana ame na ko say no this is their time na ame ba chi ame nyomo mene menye phone ni Ghana bi akewo nke Dr. Nyao Tamakro mekani bi fe amewo washi meke wo na wo washi meke wo na wo washi meke wo na wo washi meke wo ni awo washi mene nawo Dr. Nyao Tamakro me Dr. Arthur Kennedy me keme akewo Ghana bi mene nano Ghana bi mene nano ame fite no fe no ne amegbeko na ame plan nka amegbeko nka wo no ni ya no ye electoral commission efe oba na wo oba fe no part 3 oba na fe many wo fon shiki wa ha me ne Ghana bi like I'm saying cause sumo Ghana there is no way na sa no fon shiki ha me ne me ngbeji ni tete obobi ason oyi wala don ake ofebe ni wona sane gba agbe na nwe kon oyi radon wa ye shiba mi kejo ejomo ko no sumo no chon o ba nyo ke wo comment section en kan no fe no ye jeme ke osumo ni o majemi yemo kukuo ko ye voice WhatsApp no ni watch all the voice note yibo ni ona ye yemo mfoni ne no o ba nyo ke majemi ye jeme kan na seje ke 1 minute 2 minutes sketch anwe 2 minutes pe ke majemi ye jeme ko ke majemi ye jeme nka afita jomo chomo e konklome ni me ke majio mi yen da ho imoyi o iradon wenwe ani wo pe bie ni wo kwe pa 3 twa no manye jino afo no bye bye
Yeah, Baba. Yeah, Baba. It's neat. Them say you want to chop my